Hello students, welcome to week 7 for COM 430. This week we are looking at qualitative and quantitative research, specifically the specific types of research that you can conduct within communication studies. The week 7 agenda asks you to read chapter 8 and 9 of the Creswell text. Both of those chapters discuss explicitly quantitative methods and qualitative research methods, as well as completing the reading in the Cornelia text for step 7. Which it has to do with editing your paper. You also are watching 2 videos related to quantitative and qualitative research and completing activity number 7, discussion board number 7, and research activity number 5. And please know that the course is wrapping up next week in week 8, and there are some alternative deadlines in week 8 that look differently than what we've had do the majority of the time this semester. So please take a look at those this week so you do not miss those deadlines next week. Activity 7 asks you to write a paper that includes the definitions of qualitative and quantitative research and to discuss the differences between them. So really what you're doing is you are looking at these types of research and writing a compare and contrast essay on that. Your essay will be 300 words, and you'll also determine which type of research will be best for you to use within your critical assignment. Make sure this is an APA format with proper citations as well. Discussion board number 7 asks you to create a Prezi that explains again what quantitative and qualitative research is. So what you'll see here is that we have one central theme this week, and we're replicating, or we're actually not replicating, we're creating multiple different types of assignments that help us display and look at this information differently so then I can assess your learning in multiple different modalities. So the first one is a compare and contrast essay on qualitative and quantitative research. This one is a Prezi that explains what each of those types of research are, including 3 examples of qualitative and quantitative research that you'll probably find in the CBU online library. You'll post this Prezi to Blackboard in the discussion board forum and reply to at least 3 other students. So what you can see here is that we do have one central theme. However, I'm looking for you to explain what the types of research is, what they are in discussion number 7, and then in activity number 7, I'm asking you to do a compare and contrast of them. Research activity number 5 asks you to draft your methods section for your research proposal. So a methods section within a research proposal is a dedicated portion of your paper that describes what research method you will be using. This week we are going through quantitative and qualitative analysis. Both of those types of research are ones that you can choose, or the main types of research you will choose for your proposal. In a nutshell, we're going to get through this week with what you need to know about quantitative and qualitative. Very briefly, quantitative is using statistical analyses to look at communication effects of communication behavior or any type of communication artifacts. So you're conducting surveys and looking at the statistical responses of that. Qualitative research is utilizing focus groups or in-depth interviews to get the essence and make determinations of what communication effects have in your research proposal. So as you look through some of those things, it's important that you keep in mind that this week you will determine what research methods you are proposing in your critical assignment. You'll need to designate what sample size looks like. Potentially, you need to give me all the information I need to know about if you are actually going to conduct this research. The Creswell text has some excellent resources on this, so I do encourage you to go through that. Remember, this is a proposed methods section, so you're not actually conducting the research. You're just explaining to me or any reader what you would do if you were going to conduct the research. This should be about 200 to 400 words. At this point, I want to review this graphic. I know I showed it to you in the beginning of the term, but I think it's very important to look at it from this perspective now. So you begin actually with the bright yellow in the top that says research idea. You move down through literature review. We've formulated a theoretical research problem and guided ourselves with some empirical research questions or hypotheses. We've done planning with our annotated bibliography and literature review outlines. We are not doing data collection, that's for sure, but we are doing research design this week in a methods section that will outline our research design data collection as well as data analysis, So our methods section will outline those three at the bottom of the circle: research design, data collection, and data analysis. And then you're also going to eventually get to the point where we may propose how we would answer those empirical research questions and interpret the results if we were conducting the research. So we're getting all the way up into the dark red area of the research process in this course because we are creating a research proposal. Anything after the dark red would be what we would do if we were actually going to conduct the research. I just wanted to review that with you because I feel at this point in the semester this graphic might make a little more sense, may not be as broad and ambiguous to you as it was in the beginning of the term now that we've gone through the majority of the course material. When you're looking at quantitative and qualitative research, it's important that we need to compare them. So I briefly told you that qualitative research is conducting unstructured, in-depth, in-person, by phone, or video interviews with a participant. And quantitative research is using statistical analysis to determine the effects of your research questions or hypotheses. The basic research objective for qualitative research is to gain a broad quality of the understanding of underlying reasons and motivations in communication research. Quantitative research tends to look at quantifying the data and generalizing the results from a sample to the population of interest. The sample used in qualitative research is small. So in a qualitative research study, for example, I conducted one for my dissertation. I interviewed 24 people. If I were to have completed that in a quantitative way, I would have had to interview probably upwards of 500 to 750 people through the use of some type of online survey instrument or survey system like SurveyMonkey or something like that. So you can see that the sample size is significantly different for qualitative and quantitative research. I can assure you that the 24 people I interviewed compared to the 500 people that I would have needed to take in a quantitative survey still is about the same amount of time invested, because I had to go meet with those people in person, see their homes, talk to them, and spend some extensive time with them, sometimes upwards of 4 to 6 hours in a given setting. So the nature of the research is different, but you still are spending the same amount of time on that. Data collection for qualitative is not necessarily unstructured, but it's a little more fluid. It flows with the nature of what your research project is. So the unstructured nature is that my qualitative research study may be structured differently than yours, because the structure is based on, depending on the situation in which you're not conducting the interviews, but the nature of what you want to get out of your results. And then with quantitative measures, it's very structured. It's usually an online survey of some sorts that you send out through email or social media, and the structure in terms of collecting the data is the same, and we're using statistical analysis to determine the effects of the research questions and hypotheses. And then with that, I answered the last box, which is the nature of the data analysis for qualitative is non-statistical and quantitative is statistical. So with that, it's important to know that's some basic information on that. You're going to spend some time this week watching videos as well as reading the course text on it, so you be well versed in that. Once you've gone through all the materials and the videos, if you are a little unsure about the nature of these or what you should be choosing for the type of research method for your critical assignment, email me. We can set up a time to chat, or we can maybe be able to answer that via email, and I can help you land at the best place for your method section. To recap, we are reading Creswell Text Chapter 8 and 9, Cornelius Step 7. We're watching 2 videos on quantitative and qualitative research, as well as completing activity number 7. Discussion board number 7 is due on Friday with replies on Sunday, as well as research activity number 5. I pray you all have a blessed week, and I look forward to interacting with you this week. God bless.